Tonight on Patriots Unfiltered on TV. They may not have brought their A-game to Cincinnati, but the Patriots did what they had to do to beat the Bengals. We'll grade out the defense in their first game without one of their key linemen. This is a victory that may have been costly, as several key players left the game with injuries. Plus, we'll look ahead to the Monday night matchup with the Giants.
Patriots Unfiltered on TV is brought to you by Toyota's official website for deals, buyatoyota.com.
But he throws it picked off. Goodbye. Running left side, 15-10. Turning around, backpedaling into the end zone. It's Marcus Jones.
Marcus Jones uses his smarts and his speed to right some of the wrongs in Cincinnati. The Patriots came off their mini bye and needed to shake off some rust before prevailing over the Bengals. But this one wasn't easy, and it may have been costly. Hello again, everyone. I'm Alex Francisco, and this is Patriots Unfiltered on TV. Drake May recovered from a stumbling start to post the most passing yards of his young career. Let's huddle up now with Paul Perillo and Mike Dussault to talk about it. New England Patriots are the NFL's first team to 10 wins, capping off a 9-game win streak against the Cincinnati Bengals on the road. But at what cost? Paul, Mike, that's the biggest storyline from this one, I think.
Yeah, you hope that maybe the longer week with the Monday Night Football and the bye on the back end of it might buy them some time to get some of these guys back healthy. No question, it was a bloodbath, I think, for both teams, really. But to lose multiple starters, Brendan Schooler on the special teams side of the ball, each phase was affected by an injury in the Cincinnati game, and you just hope that it's not going to affect them long term.
Yeah, a little bit of a Pyrrhic victory, the way it unfolded, and we'll have to, wait and see about how long term, some of these issues were going to be, but it certainly looks like at least your offensive line is going to have to make some adjustments. I thought they handled it reasonably well in Cincinnati. I thought Ben Brown did, an admirable job, and I thought Vidarian Lowe came in and there were no real issues there in pass protection. I think the Bengals got a little aggressive at times and sent some extra rushers, which got home, but it wasn't necessarily guys, missing their assignments or losing their blocks.
First 3 drives on offense in the game. You have a punt, a 3-and-out punt, pick 6. They have slow starts, right? This one felt a little slower for Drake.
We've had Drake maybe a little high at the start of some of these games with some of his throws and, maybe be a little juiced up. This was the longest I can think of this season that the struggles continued. Now, to his credit, he was able to sort of regroup, and I give a lot of credit for that to Hunter Henry, because I think a couple of the big plays that they made in the first half, I thought the tight end just said, throw the ball to me. We're going to be all right. Just third down, over the middle. I'm just going to sit down here right beyond the sticks, give you an easy throw and catch. And all of a sudden, I think Drake may settle down a little bit from there. But it was as long of a struggle as we've seen this year, which is a testament to just how well he's played.
Yeah, I think just before you start, Mike, too, career high 115 receiving yards on 7 catches for Hunter Henry there. I think that drive where he scored really was the turning point. I think there was a third down that Drake converted on his feet, and then they were kind of rolling from there, but the tight ends were so huge in this one.
This time, was able to make the big scoring plays, and I think that is what offset a lot of their issues when they've had some inconsistencies, even during this win streak. If you're making big plays down the field and scoring touchdowns, it can offset that, but at the same time, now you're looking at a team that multiple plays inside the 5-yard line, not able to punch it in from the 1. That's not great. Certainly some issues that they've got to work on that showed themselves in this Bengals game.
The struggles in the red zone just felt so evident there.
Not being able to just line up and knock a guy off the line of scrimmage to get a yard on, 5, 6 opportunities. Yeah. That's disappointing. And the short yardage, I think, issues they've creeped up a little bit periodically throughout the season. So I think the offensive line is more athletic than it is powerful, if that makes sense. So that might be something that, this stretch drive, you're going to need to be able to just line up and run the ball into the end zone. In the playoffs, so we're looking ahead a little bit. Some of the things that could slip them up, you need to be able to execute down there in the red zone, and that's one of the things that was an issue in Cincinnati.
It's funny because they got that flag and backed up a little, and I was almost relieved. I was like, okay, now maybe they'll have an easier time getting in, but
didn't matter.
No, it didn't matter. Other side of the ball, we saw a look at the defensive front without Milton Williams, and then eventually without Tonga, right? We already mentioned Chase Brown, first running back to have a 100-yard game against the Patriots, continuing to show some cracks there, but I think...
Yeah. Well, they continue to play nickel defense, and, staying Marcus Jones, I think, played almost every snap. So you're playing multiple defensive backs. You're just trying to survive against the run game. So I not super concerned about the run defense. I mean, it's been excellent,
Yeah.
but without Tonga, without Milton Williams, you should expect that there will be a little, fallback. But ultimately, not enough for them to win the game with that running game. So, something the Patriots are going to have to continue to improve. But I think that right now they're satisfied. If we can just hold up in nickel, we want to take away the pass. Cincinnati, a huge passing team. Not surprising that they had some success on the ground.
Yeah, and this is 3 weeks in a row with the run defense sort of slipping a little bit. This was the most glaring. What I'm going to caution, I'm going to wait and see just how much this had to do with Milton Williams and Khyiris Tonga, as opposed to just sort of teams are starting to figure out how to run against the Patriots. And I don't know the answer to that yet. I don't think we have enough data on that. I kind of chalked up some of what the Jets did to Justin Fields' ability to get out of the pocket, break containment, but Chase Brown was doing the same stuff.
Marcus Jones, you mentioned a lot of snaps this week, got a pick 6, big turning point for them. Carlton Davis, also, I feel like his best game as a Patriot, maybe.
Yeah.
I know he got
Took
that.
a PI call to really get him locked in.
Like, literally, he was so fired up after that, and some clutch PBUs. So.
Oh, that's the Carlton Davis that you were expecting to get.
We signed up
that
for.
was, him being physical and contesting the ball at the catch point. And Marcus Jones, that pick 6 was huge to give the Patriots back the lead. On a day when the offense was struggling to certainly get into the end zone, you really needed that pick 6.
Yeah, I do think you're right, Alex. I think he got a little fired up on the pass interference because I think he felt like he was in pretty good position.
Yeah.
He didn't like the call. I think probably the call was a little bit more fair than he's given it credit for. But whatever motivates you, right? I mean, he came back, and you are correct. Down the stretch of that last drive, he was just all over whoever he was covering. So that's, if you could get that a little bit now as we move to December and into the playoffs, that version of Carlton Davis, big plus for that secondary with Gonzo and Davis. That's the 1-2 punch that that cat coverage that Vrabel talked about having. You guys can just line up and take guys away. That's what you're looking for.
Long time without a bye. These guys are so tired. Like, it felt so good to just get out of that game.
Feels like a tired team. Feels like a team that got beat up even more in this game. Just the feel of the videos are coming off the field. But look, this is the NFL, and injuries are going to happen. And this is a chance for Mike Vrabel and his coaching staff to overcome some of these injuries. This is when the coaching staff has to step up. You need your depth to step up. You've heard Mike Vrabel say all year long in the locker room, it's going to take all of us. You never know when your number's going to get called. So we'll see this week with the left side of the line. It might be a little bit different, but no excuse. Those guys got to go out there and keep this win streak rolling.
Still to come on Patriots Unfiltered on TV. They may have just 2 wins, but why the Giants pose a threat to the Patriots' winning streak. Evan Lazar goes to the tape to break down the defense of the New York Giants. This week's Trash Talk looks at just how deep the depth chart is for the Patriots as injuries start to pile up. And I'll go one-on-one with Patriots cornerback Carlton Davis.
Patriots Unfiltered on TV is brought to you by Cross Insurance, official insurance broker of the New England Patriots, and by Sports Illustrated Tickets. 50 million sports concerts and theater tickets, 0 fees. Fans deserve better. Visit sitickets.com today.
You're watching Patriots Unfiltered on TV.
What's up, everybody? It's Evan Lazar in the Unfiltered Film Room. Let's break down this matchup on Monday night between the Patriots and the Giants. I want to talk a little bit about this Giants defense. This is a pretty disruptive Giants defensive front. Dexter Lawrence, Brian Burns, Abdul Carter, a lot of good players. I see a lot of man coverage here for the Giants, though, defensively. So you have man-to-man here across the board. And what they're going to do with these safeties is they're going to rotate this safety into the middle of the field. He's going to go deep, and we're going to play a little bit of robber against this dagger concept, which is simply just this deep dig here and the clear out route right there. But the number I want to highlight here, the player I want to highlight, is big Dexter Lawrence there on the defensive line. One of my favorite guys to watch. So the Giants, they're going to simulate pressure with all 5 of these guys up on the line of scrimmage. That's going to get Dexter Lawrence a one-on-one as we roll to play a little bit longer. He just dents the pocket right into the quarterback, and they force an incomplete pass. So you see a lot of man coverage from this defense, disruptive pass rushers up front. Got to account for number 97 on Monday night. I'm Evan Lazar.
Patriots have to get through one more game before a very much needed bye. They're at home this week against the New York Giants, riding a 9-game win streak. The Giants, meanwhile, have dropped 6 straight and fired their defensive coordinator. I feel like this keeps happening to the Patriots. Paul, I don't think they're getting the bump that we talk about.
No. Well, I don't know if there's such a thing as the defensive coordinator bump. Is that a thing?
I don't know.
Is that a thing?
You got to find motivation anywhere you can, okay?
I will say it. I mean, the Giants are 2-10. I mean, they're a mess. But I will say this about them. They've had opportunity. The reason why the defensive coordinator, Shane Bowen, is out of a job right now is because they can't close. And they have a lot of money tied up on that side of the ball. They've had 2-score leads in the fourth quarter 5 separate times and lost every one of those. So this is one of those games you can sit there and say, well, it's another cupcake for the Patriots. They have no shot. I'm sure that's what the Lions thought last week, and then they find themselves at home in overtime, with the Giants. So if you want to, mess around and play sloppy football, you're going to find out.
Yeah, and just get ready for craziness. I mean, the trick plays,
Yeah.
throwing the ball down the field, old friend Gunnar Olszewski throwing a touchdown pass to Jameis Winston. Like, what is going on out there? Is Mike Kafka certainly, he's going into this, let's let it all rip out there, and that's what the Patriots have to be prepared for.
I fear it's giving kind of trap game energy. I mean, we saw the way they kind of celebrated their win against the Bengals, right? That was one of the most somber win celebrations we've seen in a long time. These guys are exhausted.
Yeah, and the Giants have to be killing themselves with the opportunities that they've had to win this year, and number of injuries there too. Malik Neighbors not in there. We'll see what happens with Jackson Dart if he's able to get back into the lineup, but they have some pieces on the defensive side of the ball that hasn't quite translated into the stats of it all, but this is a team that concerns me. Look at Wan'Dale Robinson coming up with big plays. I mean, they're just going to play fast and loose, and it's hard to get ready for a team like that.
I understand that this is a tired team.
Yep.
The attrition's starting to come. They've been very fortunate with injuries. Now all of a sudden you lose Milton Williams one week. The next week you lose a couple of offensive linemen, a couple of other key guys, special teamer, a key guy in your run defense. It's not a great situation. But I hope they're not looking ahead to that rest before they're worried about taking care of business Monday night.
Jackson Dart been in concussion protocol. Might see him this week. Kind of still up in the air, but what have you seen that rookie bring to the Giants that makes him kind of like frisky?
Spark, a little swag maybe?
Frisky into the fourth quarter?
Absolutely.
Got to be careful about running. The concussions are a thing with him, the style of his running, but a kid who is young, doesn't have any fear, certainly feel the difference in that team when he came in and replaced Russell Wilson. Either one of these quarterbacks, they're going to go out there and just let it rip and see what happens.
To find out that they had over 500 yards of offense twice and lost both of those games, and then you look at all the, I want to call it the star power on defense, and you just wonder, how can they be so ineffective? They have 3 good, Brian Burns is a really, really good edge rusher. They have a couple of guys in Thibodeau and the rookie Abdul Carter behind them. They haven't really gotten going yet. Dexter Lawrence in the middle is one of the really premier interior defensive linemen in football. Why can they not stop anybody?
Yeah.
That's the biggest question for me. And you have these games, you're up 2 scores in the fourth quarter. That should be tailor-made for all of these pass rushes to finish the game off, and they can't close.
They're giving up 500 right back to him. It's, it's 1,000 yards of offense last week against the Lions.
I mean, to that point, the Giants, as of last week, worst rushing defense in the NFL. So, I don't know, is this a matchup where I feel like we keep saying this. Can we get the running game going here?
Yeah, you'd think. Jameer Gibbs, had a day.
The Lions averaged over 11 yards a carry. Is that good?
Right.
Like 200-plus yards.
Is Gibbs good? I don't know. You tell me.
11 yards a carry. That's unbelievable.
It's hard to have a lot of confidence. The Patriots have not run the ball well consistently all season long. But when you see what Jameer Gibbs did, now Jameer Gibbs is Jameer Gibbs, but still, Travion Henderson, explosive player. If you're able to get him off the edges, get him in space a little bit, that might be a formula for success. Maybe we bring back those big, explosive scoring plays that they didn't have last week, and that offset some of the rushing total.
Right. I'm now joined in the studio by Patriots cornerback Carlton Davis. Welcome, first time in the studio.
Yes, thank you for having me.
I want to talk to you about the Bengals game. Fourth quarter.
Yes.
You get a DPI call. I don't want you to get in trouble. I thought it was good coverage, but they score, right? Tell me about your mentality in between those drives. Do you go back out on defense after they score that touchdown? And what's your mentality? Because you came up with 2 absolutely clutch pass breakups.
I don't know. I agree with you. I don't want to get in trouble myself, but I thought it was good coverage. The guy kind of grabbed me, and we kind of fell to the ground. So it kind of prevented me from turning around and playing the ball.
Yeah.
Going back out on the field, I knew that the game would come down to us. Now, I knew that I would probably be tested again just because I had the PI call, and I didn't want to give up anything.
Yeah.
I knew at that moment I had to take a stand.
Well, they went at you twice, and you
Yeah.
shut them down.
Yeah.
What does that feel like?
It felt good. It felt good, but I couldn't even celebrate because it was like next play.
Yeah.
'Cause we knew we were in 4-down territory. So with that being said, our coaches always tell us not to celebrate especially during a 2-minute drill, because we know the next play is the best play.
I think that was a perfect game of exactly what fans hoped for when you signed here. You know, just they're going to have you and Gonzo on the outside, but I think a lot of people overlooked Marcus Jones in the mix too. Now, what's the dynamic like with you guys? Because I feel like you're all three of you are really low-key guys, pretty even keel.
We're all just really cool. Like, we're kind of like the same personality on and off the field. Like, we're just chill guys.
Yeah.
And I think playing corner, you got to be chill because you do so much reacting and you do so much of chasing a receiver. And I think me personally, cornerback is one of the hardest positions in football. And you have to have like a real clear mind to be able to see, react, and make a play. So I think all of our personalities kind of serves us on the field as well.
You said this week that this is as close of a team as you've ever been on.
Everybody was kind of new coming in with the coaching staff and a lot of new players, and it's a new place, so we need to get acquainted with each other as opposed to going somewhere and everybody's already into it. They've been here.
Set up,
They already know.
It's crazy to say this because it's your first season here, but you're also the only guy that's played with Tom Brady in that locker room.
You know, playing with Tom and now coming to a team where he had won so much, I can just kind of feel the aura, you know, of what he built and the house he built. Obviously, it's like a huge legacy. Even just playing for this team and this organization is like crazy for me because growing up, my brother was the biggest Patriots fan. So me signing here, he was going crazy. And we just remember all the games that we used to watch.
Carlton, thank you so much. Good luck on Monday.
Thank you.
And we'll be back with more Patriots Unfiltered after the break.
Patriots Unfiltered on TV is brought to you by Cross Insurance, official insurance broker of the New England Patriots, and by Sports Illustrated Tickets. 50 million sports, concerts, and theater tickets. Same seats, better prices. Fans deserve better.
You're watching Patriots Unfiltered on TV.
The Patriots are in full grind mode. Whether it's mounting injuries, a late bye, or just the overall physical and mental toll of an NFL season, at this point, you either embrace the suck or tap out. There's a lot out of any team's control when it comes to the grind, but one thing that isn't is mindset. That's where the Patriots are ready for the final stretch of the season. All indicators are that this is a united team. It starts with the respect they have for their head coach, Coach Braves, as they call him. He's earned the trust of his players. They're bought in. You see and hear it in the locker room, on the sideline, at practice. This team loves their coach. Remember that? It also feels like the players respect and care for each other, backing up, stepping up, we all we got. However you want to describe it, there is a sense of camaraderie that makes the grind that much more tolerable. Who knows how the Patriots will do these final 5 games and beyond, but one thing is for certain, they'll do it as a team.
Before the season began, there were questions about the depth of the New England Patriots. And now that their injured list continues to grow, have they developed enough backup help? That's the debate of this week's Trash Talk with Paul Perillo and Mike Dussault.
We talked about it all summer, Paul. The depth is an issue with this team. Mike Vrabel, Elliott Wolf, Ryan Cowden, new regime, brought in a lot of the top line players, but didn't really have the opportunity to fill out the ranks. As we were sitting there in training camp, I remember saying, man, there are 1 or 2 key injuries away from really having a problem. Now, that said, we got one more game before the bye. I do think the Patriots have a chance to get healthy, and maybe this is more of an opportunity for some of these younger players like Ben Brown or Corey Durden on the other side of the ball to step up. No question, these have been some impactful injuries the Patriots have seen over the last couple of weeks, but I think they've got enough to at least tread water, hold the fort, get through the bye week, but I think you're going to need some guys back.
I'm not saying you're completely wrong, and I want to have faith because this team has been able to answer the bell. The biggest concern for me heading into the season was a lack of depth on the roster. I think that they were sort of thin, when it came to overall talent to begin with. So now you start to chip away a couple starters on your offensive line, a couple starters on your defensive line. This is how it starts. I don't expect it to just all of a sudden magically come to a halt. To me, this is the start, and you know how I am by nature, Mike. I tend to worry about stuff before it's happened. I have major concerns about the overall depth right now.
Yeah, let's talk a little about the left tackle position. You know, Mike Vrabel saying it doesn't seem like a career-ending injury for Will Campbell, but he's going to be out at least a couple weeks. We're still waiting to hear exactly what that prognosis is. But, you know, Vidarian Lowe, Paul, started a bunch of games last year, and we know he struggled at times. Seems like he's going to be the next man up. Now, I know that last year we had some bad vibes towards Vidarian Lowe, but at least he has some experience, and he's had a chance to get healthy. I don't even know if he was healthy last year, so I'm not quite sky is falling right there on the left tackle position.
Last year, I don't think the coaching staff did quite as much to scheme around the problems that were happening in the offensive line. If it was leaky early in the game, it tended to be leaky throughout the game because they did very little to adjust. Josh McDaniels won't allow that to happen. I think with Doug Marrone here as the offensive line coach, I think that group has played better in terms of schematics and being on the same page. And I think Drake Mays, you know, I know he's still a young guy, but his experience, I think, will help whoever's in front of him.
There you go, Paul. You're making me feel better already. Well, we'll see how the Patriots...
I'm still scared. I'm not going to lie.
We'll see how they can pull it together on Monday night against the Giants. Stay tuned for predictions after the break.
Now back to Patriots Unfiltered on TV.
It's time for some predictions. In 14 historical matchups between the Patriots and the Giants, they've split them 7-7. Over-under in this one is 46.5 points. The Patriots are 7.5-point favorites at home on Monday Night Football. Guys, how do we feel about that?
Yeah, I mean, I can't bet against this Patriots team right now. They've won too many games in a row, 9 games in a row. But I think that this game is going to be a coin flip, back and forth, points being scored, big plays. Love to see the Patriots get their run game going. I think that is critical. But I have a high-scoring game. I'm going to say Patriots 33-30.
Wow.
We've been listening to it all week. You know, got to get to the bye. This team needs a break. You got to recharge the batteries. I think they're going to put together a really solid offensive performance and come away with a 33-20 victory.
Oh. You know, you guys might be swaying me because they've loved Primetime this year. And this does feel like a spot that everyone's like, you know what, if the Patriots drop this game, you know, it's understandable. And they find ways to win those games. So I originally had 24-13. I think I'm going to bump it up a notch to 28-13. Not quite a 30.
Okay. All right.
Not going crazy.
Bold prediction, Alexandra.
As a reminder, you can find the three of us on Patriots Unfiltered every Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday on Patriots.com from 12 to 2 p.m. For Paul Perillo, Mike Dussault, I'm Alex Francisco, and we'll see you next week.